This is Eric Brabener from ARIS TV, and today we are reporting live from ARIS User Day and ProcessWorld in Berlin. My interview partner today is Mark Scavillo from SAP. Hi Mark.
Hello.
And Mark is the internal head of process governance at SAP and therefore a member of the SAP internal process organization. The process organization was established in February 2006 by a decision from the SAP Executive Board with a mission to turn SAP into a process-driven organization. This sounds really interesting. Perhaps you can tell us about your main targets and your main jobs within this process organization.
Sure. First of all, thanks for inviting me here to ARIS ProcessWorld and to ARIS TV. To give you a little bit of background of what we're doing, we have two main organizations. One, which I'm heading, is the process governance team. And our responsibility is to increase transparency over all processes at SAP. That means figuring out what end-to-end processes look like at SAP, who's responsible for them, and how you can measure them. The other team is our process services team, and they're responsible for consulting projects, improving processes.
Okay, this sounds interesting. So this really is a kind of interesting way to set up and to run a BPM management discipline. And within this management discipline, within SAP, what are your main BPM building blocks there?
So we've defined about 30 building blocks. We looked at 4 areas to concentrate on. You always look at people, processes, structures or organizations, and technology. But at the beginning, since 30 building blocks is a lot to work on, we're focusing on 7 or 8. Our main focus right now is on creating an enterprise process map, getting process owners, defining roles, measuring processes, which we'll talk about more later, I think, in this session, and also developing this methodology of how to improve processes.
Okay. And when you established this BPM organization and your BPM approach, what was one of the main elements where you have to look at when you start with it?
I think the most important thing is to have alignment. So when you talk about BPM, there are a lot of different definitions of what business process management is, depending on if you're an IT person in the business, maybe even a manager has a different definition. And every step that you take to roll out business process management, you have to make sure that the people understand what you're talking about, what you're trying to do. And then once you get them aligned, then you can roll these pieces or building blocks out step by step. Okay,
thank you for this answer. My next question is regarding the use of ARIS tools within your approach. So we are here at ProcessWorld, and perhaps you should know that SAP won the Business Process Excellence Award within the BPM area, so Process Intelligence and Performance Management. And now perhaps you can give us an idea what was the excellent use and what was the use and the benefit on using ARIS Process Performance Manager within SAP.
Sure. So as I mentioned before, one of our main tasks is transparency and being able to measure our processes. And there we found ARIS PPM to be an ideal tool to do this for us. We did a pilot in global purchasing. They have global standardized processes rolled out where we're measuring basically from the creation of a requisition when someone wants to order a laptop all the way to the purchase order going to the vendor. And they're now on a global basis, regionally, locally, even by different commodities that we have. So we have IT commodities, car fleet, and so on. You can see cycle times, how fast our purchasing organization is working, how fast our processes overall within SAP, also how much automation is being used. And these are valuable pieces of information that we wouldn't have had without ARIS PPM.
Great. So that means you really could measure the end-to-end process in the different areas. What were further benefits using ARIS Process Performance Manager?
I think one benefit that we weren't expecting is this help with SOX compliance in the company. So since SAP is listed on the New York Stock Exchange, we also have to comply with the Sarbanes-Oxley Act in the US. And there, because we're measuring the processes in the systems, you can actually see, for example, if we have requisitions created or excuse me, if we have purchase orders created without requisitions, which would mean there might be a control missing.
Control missing.
And there you can look in every country or in regions what the percentage is it big, is it small, and figure out there with SOX compliance how far we've gotten.
Okay, yeah.
No, and as I mentioned earlier, I mean, for us, the big key is just this transparency. In purchasing, they really could not measure how long it took a requisition to get to a purchase order. And just having this kind of information makes you plan, makes it able for them to plan for the future. So now they can have 2010 goals, 2015 goals, how fast they want to be, how efficient, how effective. And they can always see with this PPM tool if they're heading in that direction or not.
Okay. Thank you for those interesting insights. Where can our ARIS TV audience get more information regarding your approach?
Sure, that's a little bit of marketing from our side. Our department's actually writing a book on what we call the Business Process Management Roadmap, which is SAP's internal approach for implementing business process management as a management philosophy in the company. And so we're not talking about improving single processes, but how you set up an overall process map, how you define different roles that you might need, how do you work with IT, how do you work with the business, and so on.
So the complete methodology is also described, meaning you eat your own dog food.
That's right.
There.
That's right.
This is a good approach, I think. Also something we will share with the community. Yeah, so far, thank you very much for this interview.
Sure.
And I hope, of course, that you will be back at ARIS TV soon. Thank you and goodbye.
Okay, bye.